Yo, what's going on, guys? Blue as White guys here again. I'm Horizon, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my Shiranui deck profile. This deck is a really fun deck to play. It contains the Shiranui cards from the Breakers of Shadow set. So let's go ahead and get started with this deck profile. Alright guys, so to start off with the monsters, I run triple Shiranui Spirit Master. Spirit Master is a 4-star Shiranui zombie. Decent card at best. When you normal summon them, you can special summon a Shiranui card that's not this one from your hand or your graveyard. And then whenever this card is banished, most of the Shiranui monsters have banished effects. When this card is banished, you can target one face-up card on the field, and then you can destroy that thing. So you can only use this effect once per turn, so decent card. Next, I run 2 Shiranui Samurai. Samurai is a decent card at best. He's an 1800 4-star, so whenever he is summoned, you can activate his effect, and then during either player's turn, you can banish one zombie type monster from the graveyard, and then this card gains 800 attack. And then you banish any monster that battled with this card after damage calculations. They last until the end of your turn. And then if this card is banished, you can target one Shiranui monster in your graveyard, except this one, and add it to your hand. And then you can only activate this effect once per turn, so it's a decent card at best. Next, I run 1 Shiranui Smith. Smith, again, is a decent card at best. All of these Shiranui zombies are not the best, but when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can add 1 Shiranui card from your deck to your hand, except Smith, and then you can only use the effect once per turn. And then if this card is banished, you can activate the effect to where all your zombie type monsters cannot be destroyed that turn. It's a decent card at best. Next, I run 1 Shiranui Spectral Sword. This is a 2-star tuner. It's, again, not the best like all Shiranui monsters. So I only run 1 of these. Running more than 1 is just not the best idea. But this effect is if it's in your graveyard, except that the turn it's sent to the graveyard, then you can target one other non-tuner in your graveyard. Then you can banish both of this card and then the non-tuner that you picked, and then you can synchro summon out of your extra deck a card that's equal to the level of the 2 cards that you used or that you banished. So it's a pretty decent card if it's in the grave. And that's about it for the Shiranui engine on this deck. Like I said, Shiranui are just bland at best. I mean, their effects are pretty decent. Spirit Master is probably the best one that's out of it. But now I run triple Mizuki. Mizuki is a really good card for this deck. If this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it, and then you can target one zombie type monster in your graveyard, and then special summon it. So this card is what's going to be getting off your synchro plays, and it's a really good card. Next, I run double Goblin Zombie. You can actually run one of these and substitute something else in, like another Spectral Sword or something. This card is decent at best. Whenever this card is, or whenever this card inflicts battle damage, then you can mill the top card of your opponent's deck, and then if this card is destroyed or sent from the field to the graveyard, then you can add one zombie type monster with 1200 less attack from your deck to your hand. So it's a decent card to search. Oop, knocked from my deck box. Next, I run double Zombie Master. Zombie Master is a good 1800 4-star. Whenever you summon him, you can activate his effect where once per turn you can send 1 monster card from your hand to your graveyard. So I summon 1 level 4 or lower zombie type monster from either player's graveyard. So this card works really good with Zombie World because it does put every card on the field and in the graveyard. It changes them to a zombie type, so you can even get your opponent's cards out of their graveyard with this card. Next is probably the main engine for this deck, and that is Unizombie. Unizombie is a 3-star tuner, which is going to be help get your synchros out. His effect is you can activate it, and then you can send 1 card from your hand or your deck. So most of the time you target Mizuki to send to the graveyard, and then you can change this card to a 4-star. And if you're lucky enough, if you have like a Foolish Burial or something your first turn, you can send Mizuki to the graveyard, activate Mizuki's effect, banish him, then get that zombie that you use Foolish Burial on, back out, and then synchro off of him. Um, you most time you target Unizombie for the 4-star effect. You could target other monsters, but Unizombie is going to be the one that you want to target. And then next, I run 2 Play Spreader Zombies, 2-star tuner. He's mainly for the Revive King that I have in my extra deck. Decent card, I guess you could say. Um, when this card is in the graveyard, you can place 1 card from your hand to the top of your deck and then special summon this from your graveyard. So it's a decent card. Most of these zombies have effects in the graveyard because, of course, they are zombies. So that's the main monster part of this deck. So let's go ahead and get the spells out. Alright guys, next we have the spell cards. So I run 2 Terraforming, self-explanatory. You just activate this card and then you can add 1 of your field spells from your deck to your hand. And then I run 2 Zombie World. Zombie World is a good card to have in this deck because it changes every card on the field and in the graveyard to a zombie type monster. Then this next card is kind of optional. It's Shiranui Styles Synthesis. You can actually run triple Zombie World if you want to. I just have this card in here because it is a Shiranui zombie deck. But this card's decent in a tight spot. If you control no monsters, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, and then you can activate 1 of these effects. The first effect is you can target 1 zombie type monster with 0 defense in your graveyard. You can summon it, and then you can target 1 of your banished zombie type monsters with 0 defense and return it to your graveyard. So you can only activate 1 of these effects the turn you activate this card. Next, I run 1 Foolish Burial, self-explanatory. 1 gold sarcophagus. This card's really good. You can banish your Spirit Master, and then the Spirit Master's effect comes into play where if he's banished, you can send 1 face-up card on the field to the graveyard. So it's a really, really good card to have in this deck. And then after 2 turns, you can add it to your hand. 1 Instant Fusion, self-explanatory. This is for Norden. 1 Call of the Mummy. This card's really good if you're in a tight spot because once per turn, if you control no monsters, you can special summon 1 zombie type monster from your hand. 1 Book of Life. Special summon 1 zombie type monster from your graveyard and remove from play 1 monster from your opponent's graveyard. It's a really good card to have. 1 Upstrike Goblin, self-explanatory. 1 Forbidden Lance. This helps guard your synchros or any other card. Or if your opponent activates a spell card that does something, let's just say Mass Change for Masked Heroes, then you can activate this, target the monster, and then they can't be affected by Mass Change. Next, 1 Burial from Different Dimension, self-explanatory. You choose 3 remove from play monsters and add them back to your graveyard. And then 1 Soul Charge. I love this card. I love it a lot. You just target any number of monsters in your graveyard, and then you can special summon them, and then if you do, you lose 1,000 life points for however many monsters. Like I said, this card is really good. You can get cards out of your graveyard or synchro summon again, so really good card to have. Alright guys, so next for our trap cards, I run triple Shiranui Style Swallows Slash. Really good card. You activate it, tribute 1 zombie type monster, and then target 2 cards on the field, destroy them, and then you banish 1 Shiranui's monster from your deck. Like I said, you could banish Spirit Master or any other zombie type monster that has a banished effect. So a good card to have. 1 Compulse. 1 Bottomless. 1 Solemn Warning. And then 1 Torrential Tribute. Those are my trap cards for my Shiranui zombie type deck. And that is the whole complete main part of the deck. That's it. That's all I run. Like I said, this is my own deck. You can change it however you want to. So let's go ahead and get started with the extra deck. So start off with our level 10 synchro. We have Leo. Leo is a good 3100 beater. When this card sits up on the field, it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects except during your main phase 2. So good 3100 beater. Then now we're going to start with our level 8s. 2 Shiranui Shogun Saga. Shogun Saga is a really good card. When it's summoned, you can banish 1 of your zombie type monsters out of your graveyard, and then it gains attack equal to that monster's attack. And then when this card is destroyed, you can target one of your banished zombie type monsters, then add it back to the graveyard. So good 3,000 attack card. And then I have one Void Ogre Dragon. Void Ogre Dragon is a good 3,000 beater. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, while you have no cards in your hand, you can negate the activation and destroy it. One Thought Roller Dragon. This card's really good if you need life points. This card destroys a monster of battle, and then you can gain life points equal to the destroyed monster's attack. And then whenever a spell or trap card spell trap card is activated that targets a Saga type monster or this card, you can pay 1,000 life points and negate the activation. And then last, to round up our level 8, we run one Stardust Dragon. Everyone knows what Stardust Dragon does. Next we have our level 7, which is Black Rose Dragon. Secret Summon her, and then she can wipe the board. Now for our level 6s, I run one Revive King. Use Plague Spreader Zombie to get him out, and then if this card destroys something, then your opponent can activate graveyard effects. So he's good to stop graveyard effects. And then to wrap up our Synchros and our level 6s, I run one Shiranui Samurai Saga. This card's mediocre at best. I only run one. Running more than one is just kind of dumb. You can actually take him out and run anything else if you want to. I just have him in here because this is a Shiranui deck. It's 2,500 attack, and then once per turn during either player's turn, you can target one of your banished zombie type monsters, shuffle into the deck, and then all attack position monsters your opponent controls that has less than or equal to the attack of the card you put back into your deck go to defense position. And then also it has another effect to where if this card is banished, you can target one of your face-up monsters your opponent controls, and then it loses 500 attack. So it's alright. Like I said, it's mediocre at best. Only run one. So that wraps it up. That wraps it up for our Synchros. Next we have our XYZs. So I run one Degusto Emerald. Everyone knows what Degusto does. One Abyss Dweller. One Silent Honor Arc. One Castell. And then finally, one Mastroke. Mastroke is a good card. Everyone knows what Mastroke does. Just a 4-star 1,800. So that wraps it up for our XYZs. And then finally, I run our Instant Fusion target, and that is Norden. Now, everyone knows what Norden does. You summon them, you can get one of your level 4s out of your graveyard, and then you can XYZ with him. So, really good card. Alright guys, that's it for this deck profile. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and remember, this is my deck profile. This is how I like to run my deck. You can change it however you want to fit your play style. If you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comment section. I like to read and see what other people think about the deck. Pretty soon we're going to have a Masked Hero update, like on Apocalypse's deck. He's getting it fixed for a tournament. So he's got to figure out what cards he wants to run in that, and we'll have that up soon. And then we'll also have Apocalypse's Buster Blader deck profile soon. He's just got to finish that. He finished getting all the cards, and then he's got to play test a little bit, see how he likes to run it. That'll also be up soon. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, click like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to stay up to date with all of our Yu-Gi-Oh content. I'm Horizon from Blue Eyes White Guys. I'm signing off, and remember guys, believe in the heart of the cards.